were doing stuff over at the computer,
There
and
we
I was
go.
like,
Yeah, okay. Okay, I'm going to continue reading now. He tried it at least 100 times, shutting his eyes to keep from seeing his struggling legs, and only desisted when he began to feel in his side a faint, dull ache he had never experienced before. Oh God, he thought. What an exhausting job I've picked on. Traveling about day in, day out, it's much more irritating work than doing the actual business in the office. And on top of that, there's the trouble of constant traveling, of worrying about train connections, the bed and irregular meals, casual acquaintances that are always new and never becoming intimate friends. The devil take it all! He felt a slight itching up on his belly, slowly pushed himself on his back near to the top of the bed so that he could lift his head more easily, identified the itching place, which was surrounded by many small white spots, the nature of which was he could not understand, and made to touch it with a leg, but drew the leg back immediately, for the contact made a cold shiver run through him. He slid down again into his former position. This getting up early, he thought, makes one quite stupid. A man needs his sleep. Other commercials live like harem women. For instance, when I come back to the hotel of a morning to write up the orders I've got, these others are only sitting down to the breakfast. Let me just try that with my chief. I'd be sacked on the spot. Anyhow, that might be quite a good thing for me, who can tell. If I didn't have to hold my hand because of my parents, I'd have given notice long ago. I'd have gone to the chief and told him exactly what I think of him. That would knock him endways from his desk. It's a queer way of doing, too, this sitting on high at a desk and talking down to employees, especially when they have to come quite near because the chief is hard of hearing. Well, there's still hope. Once I've saved enough money to pay back my parents' debts to him, that should take another 5 or 6 years. I'll do it without fail. I'll cut myself completely loose then. For the moment, though, I'd better get up, since my train goes at 5. He looked at the alarm clock ticking on the chest. Heavenly Father, he thought. It was 6:30 and the hands were quietly moving on. It was even half past the half hour. It was getting on toward 6:45. Had the alarm clock not gone off? From the bed one can see that it had been properly set for 4 o'clock. Of course, it must have gone off, yes, but was it possible to sleep quietly through that ear-splitting noise? Well, he had not slept quietly, yet apparently all the more soundly for that. Well, but what was he to do now? The next train went at 7 o'clock. To catch that, he would need to hurry like mad, and his samples weren't even packed up, and he himself wasn't feeling particularly fresh and active. And even if he did catch the train, he wouldn't avoid a row with the chief, since the firm's porter would have been waiting for the 5 o'clock train, and would have long since reported his failure to turn up. The porter was a creature of the chief's, spineless and stupid. Well, supposing he were to say he was sick. That would be most unpleasant and would look suspicious, since during his 5 years' employment he had not been ill once. The chief himself would be sure to come with a sick insurance doctor, would reproach his parents with their son's laziness, and would cut all excuses short by referring to the insurance doctor, who of course regarded all mankind as perfectly healthy malingerers. And would he be so far wrong on this occasion? Gregor really felt quite well, apart from a drowsiness that was utterly superfluous after such a long sleep, and even he was unusually hungry. As all this was running through his mind at top speed without his being able to decide to leave his bed, the alarm clock had just struck 7:15. There came a cautious tap at the door behind the head of his bed. "Gregor," said a voice. It was his mother's. "It's 7:15. Hadn't you a train to catch?" That gentle voice. Gregor had a shock as he heard his own voice answering hers. Unmistakably his own voice, but it was true. But with a persistent, horrible, twittering speak behind it like an undertone, which left the words in their clear shape only for the first moment and then rose up reverberating around them to destroy their sense, so that one could not be sure one had heard them rightly. Gregor wanted to answer at length and explain everything, but in the circumstances, he confined himself to saying, "Yes, yes, thank you, Mother, I'm getting up now." The wooden door between them must have kept the change in his voice from being noticeable outside, for for his mother contented herself with this statement and shuffled away. Yet this brief exchange of words had made the other members of the family aware that Gregor was still in the house, as they had not expected. And at one of the side doors, his father, who was already knocking gently, yet with his fist. "Gregor! Gregor!" he called. "What's the matter with you?" And after a little while, he called again in a deeper voice. "Gregor! Gregor!" At the other side door, his sister was saying in a low, plaintive tone, "Gregor, aren't you well? Are you needing anything?" He answered them both at once, "I'm just ready," and did his best to make his voice sound as normal as possible by enunciating the words very clearly and leaving long pauses between them. So his father went back to breakfast, but his sister whispered, "Gregor, open the door, do." However, he was not thinking of opening the door and felt thankful that the prudent habit he had acquired in traveling of locking all doors during the night, even at home. His immediate intention was to get up quietly without being disturbed, to put on his clothes and, above all, eat his breakfast, and only then consider what else was to be done, since in bed, he was well aware, his meditations would come to no sensible conclusion. He remembered that often enough in bed he had felt small aches and pains, probably caused by awkward postures which had proved purely imaginary once he got up, and he looked forward eagerly to seeing this morning's delusions gradually fall away. That the change in his voice was nothing but the precursor of a severe chill, a standing ailment of commercial travelers, he had not the least possible doubt. To get rid of the quilt was quite easy. He had only to inflate himself a little and it fell off by itself, but the next move was difficult, especially because he was so uncommonly broad. He would have needed arms and legs to hoist himself up. Instead, he had only the numerous little legs which were never stopped waving in all directions, and which he could not control in the least. When he tried to bend one of them, it was the first to stretch itself straight, and did he succeed at last in making it do what he wanted, all the other legs meanwhile waved the more wildly in a high degree of unpleasant agitation. "But what's the use of lying idle in bed?" said Gregor to himself. He thought that he might get out of bed with the lower part of his body first, but this lower part, which he had not yet seen, and of which he could form no clear conception, proved too difficult to move. It shifted so slowly, and when finally, almost wild with annoyance, he gathered his forces together and thrust out recklessly. He had miscalculated the direction and bumped heavily against the lower end of the bed. The stinging pain he felt informed him that precisely this lower part of his body was, at the moment, probably the most sensitive. So he tried to get to the top part of himself out first, and cautiously moved his head toward the edge of the bed. That proved easy enough, and despite its breadth and mass, the bulk of his body at last slowly followed the movement of his head. Still, when he finally got his head free over the edge of the bed, he felt too scared to go on advancing. For after all, if he let himself fall in this way, it would take a miracle to keep his head from being injured. And at all costs, he must not lose consciousness now. Precisely now, he would rather stay in bed. But when after a repetition of the same effort he lay in his former position again, sighing, and watched his little legs struggling against each other more wildly than ever, if that were possible, and saw no way of bringing any order into this arbitrary confusion, he told himself again that it was impossible to stay in bed, and the most sensible course was to risk everything for the smallest hope of getting away from it. At the same time, he did not forget to remind himself occasionally that cool reflection, the coolest possible, was much better than desperate resolves. In such moments, he focused his eyes as sharply as possible on the window, but unfortunately the prospect of the morning fog, which muffled even the other side of the narrow street, brought him little encouragement and comfort. 7 o'clock already, he said to himself when the alarm clock chimed again. 7 o'clock already and still such a thick fog. And for a little while he lay quiet, breathing lightly, as if perhaps expecting such complete repose to restore all things to their real and normal condition. But then he said to himself, "Before it strikes 7:15, I must be quite out of this bed, without fail. Anyhow, by that time someone will have come from the office to ask for me, since it opens before 7. And he set himself to rocking his whole body at once in a regular rhythm, with the idea of swinging it out of the bed. If he tipped himself out in that way, he could keep his head from injury by lifting it at an acute angle when he fell. His back seemed to be hard and was not likely to suffer from a fall on the carpet. His biggest worry was the loud crash he would not be able to help making, which would probably cause anxiety, if not terror, behind all the doors. Still, he must take the risk. When he was already half out of the bed, the new method was more a game than an effort, for he needed only to hitch himself across by rocking to and fro. It struck him how simple it would be if he could get help. Two strong people, he thought of his father and the servant girl, would be amply sufficient. They would only have to thrust their arms under his convex back, lever him out of the bed, bend down with their burden, and then be patient enough to let him turn himself right over onto the floor, where it was to be hoped his legs would then find their proper function. Well, ignoring the fact that the doors were all locked, ought he really to call for help? In spite of his misery, he could not suppress a smile at the very idea of it. He had got so far that he could barely keep his equilibrium when he rocked himself strongly. He would have to nerve himself very soon for the final decision, since in 5 minutes' time it would be 7:15 when the front doorbell rang. "That's someone from the office," he said to himself, and grew almost rigid while his little legs only jiggled about all the faster. For a moment, everything stayed quiet. "They're not going to open the door," said Gregor to himself, catching at some kind of irrational hope, but then, of course, the servant girl went as usual to the door with her heavy tread and opened it. Gregor needed only to hear the first good morning of the visitor to know immediately who it was, the chief clerk himself. What a fate, to be condemned to work for a firm where the smallest omission at once gave rise to the gravest suspicion. Were all employees in a body nothing but scoundrels? Was there not among them one single loyal, devoted man who, had he wasted only an hour of the firm's time in a morning, was so tormented by his conscience to be driven out of his mind and actually incapable of leaving his bed? Wouldn't it really have been sufficient to send an apprentice to inquire, if any inquiry were necessary at all? Did the chief clerk himself have to come and thus indicate to the entire family, an innocent family, that this suspicious circumstance could be investigated by no one less versed in affairs than himself? And more through the agitation caused by these reflections than through any act of will, Gregor swung himself out of bed with all his strength. There was a loud thump, but it was not really a crash. His fall was broken to some extent by the carpet. His back, too, was less stiff than he thought, and so there was merely a dull thud, not so very startling. Only he had not lifted his head carefully enough and had hit it. He turned it and rubbed it on the carpet in pain and irritation. "There was something falling down in there," said the chief clerk in the next room to the left. Gregor tried to suppose to himself that something like what happened to him today might someday happen to the chief clerk. One really could not deny that it was possible, but as if in a brusque reply to this supposition, that the chief clerk took a couple of firm steps in the next door room, and his patent leather boots creaked. In the right-hand room, his sister was whispering to inform him of the situation. "Gregor, the chief clerk's here." "I know," muttered Gregor to himself, but he didn't dare to make his voice loud enough for his sister to hear it. "Gregor," said his father now from the left-hand room, "the chief clerk has come and wants to know why you didn't catch the early train. We don't know what to say to him. Besides, he wants to talk to you in person. So open the door, please. He will be good enough to excuse the untidiness of your room." "Good morning, Mr. Samsa." The chief clerk was calling amiably meanwhile. "He's not well," said his mother to the visitor, while his father was still speaking through the door. "He's not well, sir, believe me. What else would make him miss a train? The boy thinks about nothing but his work. It makes me almost cross the way he never goes out in the evenings. He's been here the last 8 days and has stayed at home every single evening. He just sits there quietly at the table reading a newspaper or looking through railway timetables. The only amusement he gets is doing fretwork. For instance, he spent 2 or 3 evenings cutting out a little picture frame. You'll be surprised to see how pretty it is. It's hanging in his room. You'll see it in a minute when Gregor opens the door. I must say I'm glad you've come, sir. We should never have gotten to unlock the door by ourselves. He's so obstinate. And I'm sure he's unwell, though he wouldn't have it to be so this morning. I'm just coming, said Gregor, slowly and carefully, not moving an inch for fear of losing one word of the conversation. I can't think of any other explanation, madame, said the chief clerk. I hope it's nothing serious. Although on the other hand, I must say that we men of business, fortunately or unfortunately, very often simply have to ignore any slight indisposition, since business must be attended to. Well, can the chief clerk come in now? Asked Gregor's father impatiently, again knocking on the door. No, said Gregor. In the left-hand room, a painful silence followed this refusal. In the right-hand room, his sister began to sob. Why didn't his sister join the others? She was probably newly out of bed and hadn't even begun to put on her clothes yet. Well, why was she crying? Because he wouldn't get up and let the chief clerk in? Because he was in danger of losing his job? And because the chief would begin dunning his parents again for the old debts? Surely these were things one didn't need to worry about for the present. Gregor was still at home and not in the least thinking of deserting the family. At the moment, true, he was lying on the carpet, and no one who knew the condition he was in could seriously expect him to admit the chief clerk. But for such a small discourtesy, which could plausibly be explained away somehow later on, Gregor could hardly be dismissed on the spot. And it seemed to Gregor that it would be much more sensible to leave him in peace for the present than to trouble him with tears and entreaties. Still, of course, their uncertainty bewildered them and excused their behavior. Mr. Samsa, the chief clerk called now in a louder voice. What's the matter with you? Here you are, barricading yourself in your room, giving only yes and no for answers, causing your parents a lot of unnecessary trouble and neglecting. I mention this only in passing, neglecting your business duties in an incredible fashion. I am speaking here in the name of your parents and of your chief, and I beg you quite seriously to give me an immediate and precise explanation. You amaze me. You amaze me. I thought you were a quiet, dependable person, and now, all at once, you seem bent on making a disgraceful exhibition of yourself. The chief did hint to me early this morning a possible explanation for your disappearance, with reference to the cash payments that were entrusted to you recently, but I almost pledged my solemn word of honor that this could not be so. But now that I see how incredibly obstinate you are, I no longer have the slightest desire to take your part at all, and your position in the firm is not so unassailable. I came with the intention of telling you all this in private, but since you are wasting my time so needlessly, I don't see why your parents shouldn't hear it too. For some time past, your work has been most unsatisfactory. This is not the season of the year for a business boom, of course, we admit that, but a season of the year for doing no business at all, that does not exist, Mr. Samsa, must not exist. But sir, cried Gregor, beside himself and in his agitation forgetting everything else, I'm just going to open the door this very minute. A slight illness and an attack of giddiness has kept me from getting up. I'm still lying in bed, but I feel all right again. I'm getting out of bed now. Just give me a moment or two longer. I'm not quite so well as I thought, but I'm all right, really. How a thing like that can suddenly strike one down. Only last night I was quite well, my parents can tell you. Or rather, I did have a slight presentiment. I must have showed some sign of it. Why didn't I report it at the office? But one always thinks that an indisposition can be got over without staying in the house. Oh, sir, do spare my parents. All that you're approaching me with now has no foundation. No one has ever said a word to me about it. Perhaps you haven't looked at the last orders I sent in. Anyhow, I can still catch the 8 o'clock train. I'm much the better for my few hours' rest. Don't let me detain you here, sir. I'll be attending to business very soon, and do be good enough to tell the chief so and make my excuses to him. And while all this was tumbling out pell-mell, and Gregor hardly knew what he was saying, he had reached the chest quite easily, perhaps because of the practice he had had in bed, and was now trying to lever himself upright by means of it. He meant actually to open the door, actually to show himself and speak to the chief clerk. He was eager to find out what the others, after all their insistence, would say at the sight of him. If they were horrified, then the responsibility was no longer his, and he could stay quiet. But if they took it calmly, then he had no reason either to be upset, and could really get to the station for the 8 o'clock train if he hurried. At first, he slipped down a few times from the polished surface of the chest, but at length, with a last heave, he stood upright. He paid no more attention to the pains in the lower part of his body, however they smarted. Then he let himself fall against the back of a nearby chair, and clung with his little legs to the edges of it. That brought him into control of himself again, and he stopped speaking, for now he could listen to what the chief clerk was saying. "Did you understand a word of it?" the chief clerk was asking. "Surely he can't be trying to make fools of us." "Oh dear," cried his mother in tears. "Perhaps he's terribly ill and we're tormenting him. Greta! Greta!" she called out then. "Yes, mother?" called his sister from the other side. They were calling to each other across Gregor's room. "You must go this minute for the doctor. Gregor is ill. Go for the doctor, quick. Did you hear how he was speaking? That was no human voice." "Anna! Anna!" His father was calling through the hall to the kitchen, clapping his hands. "Get a locksmith at once." And the two girls were already running through the hall with a swish of skirts. How could his sister have got dressed so quickly, and were tearing the front door open? There was no sound of its closing again. They had evidently left it open, as one does in houses where some great misfortune has happened. But Gregor was now much calmer. The words he uttered were no longer understandable, apparently, although they seemed clear enough to him, even clearer than before, perhaps because his ear had grown accustomed to the sound of them. Yet at any rate, people now believed that something was wrong with him, and were ready to help him. The positive certainty with which these first measures had been taken comforted him. He felt himself drawn once more into the human circle, and hoped for great and remarkable results from both the doctor and the locksmith, without really distinguishing precisely between them. To make his voice as clear as possible for the decisive conversation that was now imminent, he coughed a little, as quietly as he could, of course, since this noise too might not sound like a human cough, for all he was able to judge. In the next room, meanwhile, there was complete silence. Perhaps his parents were sitting at the table with the chief clerk, whispering. Perhaps they were all leaning against the door and listening. Slowly, Gregor pushed the chair toward the door and then let go of it, caught hold of the door for support. The soles at the end of his little legs were somewhat sticky, and rested against it for a moment after his efforts. Then he set himself to turning the key in the lock with his mouth. It seemed, unhappily, that he hadn't really any teeth. What could he grip the key with? But, on the other hand, his jaws were certainly very strong. With their help, he did manage to set the key in motion, heedless of the fact that he was undoubtedly damaging them somewhere, since a brown fluid issued from his mouth, flowed over the key, and dripped on the door. "Just listen to that," said the chief clerk next door. "He's turning the key." That was a great encouragement to Gregor, but they should all have shouted encouragement to him. His father and mother, too. "Go on, Gregor," they should have called out. "Keep going, hold on to that key." And in the belief that they were all following his efforts intently, he clenched his jaws recklessly on the key with all the force at his command. As the turning of the key progressed, he circled around the lock, holding on now only with his mouth, pushing on the key as required or pulling it down again with all the weight of his body. The louder click of the finally yielding lock literally quickened Gregor. With a deep breath of relief, he said to himself, "So I didn't need the locksmith," and laid his head on the handle to open the door wide. Since he had to pull the door toward him, he was still invisible when it was really wide open. He had to edge himself slowly around the near half of the double door, and to do it very carefully if he was not to fall plump upon his back just on the threshold. He was still carrying out this difficult maneuver with no time to observe anything else when he heard the chief clerk utter a loud "Oh!" It sounded like a gust of wind, and now he could see the man, standing as he was nearest to the door, clapping one hand before his open mouth and slowly backing away as if driven by some invisible, steady pressure. His mother, in spite of the chief clerk's being there, her hair was still undone and sticking up in all directions, first clasped her hands and looked at his father, then took 2 steps toward Gregor and fell on the floor among her outspread skirts, her face quite hidden on her breast. His father nodded his fist with a fierce expression on his face as if he meant to knock Gregor back into his room, then looked uncertainly around the living room, covered his eyes with his hands, and wept till his great chest heaved. Gregor did not go now into the living room, but leaned against the inside of the firmly shut wing of the door, so that only half his body was visible, and the head above it bending sideways to look at the others. The light had meanwhile strengthened. On the other side of the street, one could see clearly a section of the endlessly long, dark gray building opposite. It was a hospital, abruptly punctuated by its row of regular windows. The rain was still falling, but only in large, singly discernible and literally singly splashing drops. The breakfast dishes were set out on the table lavishly, for breakfast was the most important meal of the day to Gregor's father, who lingered it out for hours over various newspapers. Right opposite Gregor, on the wall, hung a photograph of himself in military service, as a lieutenant, hand on sword, a carefree smile on his face, inviting one to respect his uniform and military bearing. The door leading to the hall was open, and one could see that the front door stood open too, showing the landing beyond and the beginning of the stairs going down. "Well," said Gregor, knowing perfectly that he was the only one who had retained any composure, "I'll put my clothes on at once, pack up my samples, and start off. Will you only let me go? You see, sir, I'm not obstinate, and I'm willing to work. Traveling is a hard life, but I couldn't live without it. Where are you going, sir? To the office? Yes? Will you give a true account of all this? One can be temporarily incapacitated, but that's just the moment for remembering former services, and bearing in mind that later on, when the incapacity has been got over, one will certainly work with all the more industry and concentration. I'm loyally bound to serve the chief, you know that very well. Besides, I have to provide for my parents and my sister. I'm in great difficulties, but I'll get out of them again. Don't make things any worse for me than they are. Stand up for me in the firm. Travelers are not popular there, I know. People think they earn sacks of money and just have a good time. A prejudice there's no particular reason for revising. But you, sir, have a more comprehensive view of affairs than the rest of the staff. Yes, let me tell you in confidence, more comprehensive view than the chief himself, who, being the owner, lets his judgment easily be swayed against one of his employees. And you know very well that the traveler, who is never seen in the office almost the whole year round, can so easily fall a victim to gossip and ill luck and unfounded complaints, which he mostly knows nothing about except when he comes back exhausted from his rounds, and only then suffers in person from their evil consequences, which he can no longer trace back to the original causes. Sir, don't go away without a word to me to show that you think me in the right, at least to some extent." But at Gregor's very first words, the chief clerk had already backed away and only stared at him with his parted lips over one twitching shoulder. And while Gregor was speaking, he did not stand still one moment, but stole away toward the door without taking his eyes off Gregor, yet only an inch at a time, as if obeying some secret injunction to leave the room. He was already at the hall, and the suddenness with which he took his last step out of the living room would have made one believe he had burned the sole of his foot. Once in the hall, he stretched his right arm before him toward the staircase, as if some supernatural power were waiting there to deliver him. Gregor perceived that the chief clerk must on no account be allowed to go away in this frame of mind if his position in the firm were to be endangered to the utmost. His parents did not understand this so well. They had convinced themselves in the course of years that Gregor was settled for life in this firm, and besides, they were so preoccupied with their immediate troubles that all foresight had forsaken them. Yet Gregor had this foresight. The chief clerk must be detained, soothed, persuaded, and finally won over. The whole future of Gregor and his family depended on it. If only his sister had been there. She was intelligent. She had begun to cry, while Gregor was still lying quietly on his back. And no doubt, the chief clerk, so partial to ladies, would have been guided by her. She would have shut the door of the flat and in the hall talked him out of his horror. But she was not there. and Gregor would have to handle the situation himself. And without remembering that he was still unaware what powers of movement he possessed, without even remembering that his words in all possibility, indeed in all likelihood, would again be unintelligible, he let go of the wing of the door, pushed himself through the opening, started to walk toward the chief clerk, who was already ridiculously clinging with both hands to the railing on the landing. But immediately, as he was feeling for a support, he fell down with a little cry upon all the numerous legs. Hardly was he down when he experienced for the first time this morning a sense of physical comfort. His legs had firm ground under them. They were completely obedient. As he noted with joy, they even strove to carry him forward in whatever direction he chose, and he was inclined to believe that a final relief from all his sufferings was at hand. But in the same moment, as he found himself on the floor, rocking with suppressed eagerness to move, not far from his mother, indeed just in front of her, she, who had seemed so completely crushed, sprang all at once to her feet, her arms and fingers outspread, cried, "Help! For God's sake, help!" Bent her head down as if to see Gregor better, yet on the contrary kept backing senselessly away. Had quite forgotten that the laden table stood behind her, sat upon it hastily as if in absence of mind, when she bumped into it and seemed altogether unaware that the big coffee pot beside her was upset and pouring coffee in a flood over the carpet. Mother," said Gregor in a low voice, and looked up at her. The chief clerk for the moment had quite slipped from his mind. Instead, he could not resist snapping his jaws together at the sight of the streaming coffee. That made his mother scream again as she fled from the table and fell into the arms of his father, who hastened to catch her. But Gregor now had no time to spare for his parents. The chief clerk was already on the stairs, with his chin on the banisters. He was taking one last backward look. Gregor made a spring, to be as sure as possible of overtaking him. The chief clerk must have divined his intention, for he leapt down several steps and vanished. He was still yelling, "Ugh!" and it echoed through the whole staircase. Unfortunately, the flight of the chief clerk seemed completely to upset Gregor's father, who had remained relatively calm until now, for instead of running after the man himself, or at least not hindering Gregor in his pursuit, he seized in his right hand the walking stick that the chief clerk had left behind on a chair, together with a hat and greatcoat, snatched in his left hand a large newspaper from the table, and began stamping his feet and flourishing the stick and newspaper to drive Gregor back into his room. No entreaty of Gregor's availed, indeed, no entreaty was even understood. However humbly he bent his head. His father only stamped on the floor more loudly. Behind his father, his mother had torn open a window, despite the cold weather, and was leaning far out of it with her face in her hands. A strong draft set in from the street to the staircase. The window curtains blew in, the newspapers on the table fluttered, stray pages whisked over the floor. Pitilessly, Gregor's father drove him back, hissing and crying "shoo," like a savage. But Gregor was quite unpracticed in walking backwards. It really was a slow business. If he only had a chance to turn around, he could get back to his room at once, but he was afraid of exasperating his father by the slowness of such a rotation, and at any moment, the stick in his father's hand might hit him a fatal blow on the back or the head. In the end, however, nothing else was left for him to do, since to his horror he observed that in moving backwards, he could not even control the direction he took, and so, keeping an anxious eye on his father all the time over his shoulder, he began to turn around as quickly as he could, which was in reality very slowly. Perhaps his father noted his good intentions, for he did not interfere except every now and then to help him in the maneuver from a distance with the point of the stick. If only he would have stopped making that unbearable hissing noise. It made Gregor quite lose his head. He had turned almost completely around when the hissing noise so distracted him that he even turned a little the wrong way again. But when at last his head was fortunately right in front of the doorway, it appeared that his body was too broad simply to get through the opening. His father, of course, in his present mood, was far from thinking of such a thing as opening the other half of the door to let Gregor have enough space. She had merely the fixed idea of driving Gregor back into the room as quickly as possible. He would never have suffered Gregor to make the circumstantial preparations for standing up on end and perhaps slipping his way through the door. Maybe he was now making more noise than ever to urge Gregor forward, as if no obstacle impeded him. To Gregor, anyhow, the noise in his rear sounded no longer like the voice of one single father. This was really no joke, and Gregor thrust himself, come what might, into the doorway. One side of his body rose up and was tilted at an angle in the doorway. His flank was quite bruised. Horrid blotches stained the white door. Soon he was stuck fast, and left to himself, could not have moved at all. His legs on one side fluttered, trembling in the air. Those on the other were crushed painfully to the floor, when from behind his father gave him a strong push, which was literally a deliverance, and he flew far into the room, bleeding freely. The door was slammed behind him with the stick, and then, at last, there was silence.
Is that it?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's
chapter 1.
So you guys couldn't see. I forgot we were on radio. I was actually doing ASL for the entire thing. I was signing, but then I just now realized that actually.
Yeah, Mark was he's our interpreter.
I was doing interpretive dance actually, and man, chapter 1 is long as hell.
I know. It's like half. I think that was like half of it, or maybe a third, because there's 3 chapters.
That's quite a bit.
Yeah, I know, it's long.
I pulled up a PDF and like some of the words were like changed. And
Yeah.
I was like, damn.
It's just like different translations.
Yeah.
Because it's translated from German. Yeah.
Well, here we are.
Yeah. Now my throat hurts.
I don't blame you. All right. Time to theme, it appears.
Yeah, this is Act 2 of the theme room. Actually,
What?
this is the theme room, but also today this is Grub Bug Radio.
Is that so?
Yeah.
Grub Bug Radio.
Yeah, because we're talking about grubs and bugs today. That's right, ladies and gents. Mark, would you care to introduce the next piece of literature?
Oh yeah. So when you think of great, not only writers but philosophers, you come up with like Voltaire, Kafka. I'm thinking,
Aristotle.
Aristotle, Socrates.
Yeah, that's one. There's John Locke.
John Locke, of course, yes. But above all of them, I would say, and I'm sure many agree, we have Eric Carle.
Of course. Not to be confused with Eric Cartman, who is arguably the most important philosopher.
Screw you guys, I'm going home.
Yeah.
Type beat.
Right, exactly. And he's fat, and he wears a little hat and a coat. He really likes to say racial slurs.
Yes. What's your favorite, Ben? Can you just remind us all?
Yeah, it is actually.
Oh, Ben, his mic just cut out. That sucks.
Yeah, I said it though.
Yeah, he did say it. It was wow. I didn't even know that one. You're teaching me new things here.
Yeah, I actually invented it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was not only a word I've never heard, but a race I've never even heard of.
Yeah, I know.
So,
Polish.
They exist? I thought that was just a thing in books.
Yeah, no, yeah. I don't know.
Anyway,
I guess I
don't
haven't made
confuse
it to
that
LA
with
yet.
Eric Carle, the author of
Right.
The Very Hungry Caterpillar.
And Brown Bear, what do you see, among other things?
Yes.
Also, for the record, I actually did not say a racial slur, if you couldn't tell. This is the theme room is racial slur free.
Objection sustained, Benjamin Andrew Walter.
Uh,
Let the court show that.
It's also, there's no other slurs either. This is a slur-free zone.
Yes.
And WCCR...
Only thing we're slurring is our words because of how much we have not drank.
Yeah, because of how sober we are.
Yes, that's correct. I'm so straight edge that sometimes I slur my words.
Sometimes I get drunk off of being too straight edge.
Yeah. I just think of how much God loves me, and I'm like, whoa, guys. I need to go drink water and throw up.
Yeah, but WCCR does not endorse saying slurs. Neither does Purdue University.
But Benjamin
Disclaimer.
Andrew Walter does.
Neither do I. I don't either. Do not listen to this man. I don't know how he got in here.
All right.
Anyways, yeah, Eric Carle, really, really great man. Mark, would you like to take it away?
Yeah, sure. So, Eric Carle. Carle is spelled with an E, C-A-R-L-E. The cover shows a green caterpillar with a red face and a little brown antenna, if you will. And then there's a little orange sun in the top left corner. And the words the words in the letter caterpillar are all different colors. Page 2. 225 people clipped this slide, in case you're wondering. There's a moon with a face and like a headband. Looks like he just got done running or something. And the book reads, "In the light of the moon, a little egg lay on a leaf."
Yeah, there's a bunch of like crazy colored polka dots behind.
Can we share our screen?
Yeah, let me.
Oh, it's radio.
Oh,
I forgot about
yeah.
that. When are they gonna come out with that?
Radio 2.
Yeah.
It was supposed to come
Well, I mean,
out.
what? This is like what, one frequency of waves?
Yeah.
Can we not just like translate?
Yeah,
that?
I don't know why they can't just double it.
Where's the video waves? Where's that on the electromagnetic spectrum?
I think we were supposed to get it, but then it got delayed by COVID.
I think that's a damn lie, Benjamin J. Walter. One Sunday morning, good morning, Sunday morning, the warm sun came up and pop! Sorry, the warm sun came up and out of the egg came a tiny and very hungry caterpillar. And it shows a little egg, the picture of the egg.
Right.
Oh, I clicked something incorrectly. I can no longer read the book.
So there's a picture of an egg, and then a picture of an arrow, which points to a picture of a caterpillar.
But the same picture that
Yeah.
adorns the front of the
Right.
cover of the book.
Right.
The arrow showing as if a chemical equation showing that the reactants are the egg and the product
yields caterpillar.
it yields one caterpillar. And then the sun looks smugly upon the caterpillar as he begins to walk, or she, or they, as they begin to walk across the dirt ground. Oh, I guess it is a he, because the next page reads, "He started to look for some food." So this here book will not be passing the Bechdel test, I can tell you that right now. The caterpillar thinks to himself, "I'm so hungry," in all caps. Still the same picture from the cover. This dude reuses pictures.
Yeah,
Fifth page, same picture of the caterpillar being used.
I don't know if this slideshow is like the real.
I'm sure it's the same words, but probably not the correct
Yeah, these
illustrations.
pictures definitely don't look correct.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna keep reading it.
Okay, go for
On
it.
Monday, he ate through one apple, but he was still hungry, and it shows an apple with a hole in it. It's weird that he ate through the apple and then decided, "I'm done."
Yeah.
Because there's just a hole in the apple. It's not like...
Oh yeah,
like,
no.
It's not like in those cartoons when you're like digging through trash and like you see like the fish bone and then the apple core. It doesn't look like that. It's a whole apple with just one...
Yeah, he
like
just
a bullet
he puts a
went through
hole right through it.
And then it goes, "I'm done."
It goes,
It's like
"Yeah."
the people who like only eat the pizza, not the crust.
Yeah, exactly.
He just left the crust on the apple.
Well, no, that's like just eating the crust and leaving the pizza.
Well, you don't know. Maybe he dug in a little hole and then excavated the entire thing, and then just popped out the other side, making it look like it's still a real apple. But nay, it is hollow.
Oh, hey, I think I found the actual book.
Damn. Let me pull that up then.
So we were on slideshare.net, and so this is just like some like PowerPoint presentation version of the Very Hungry Caterpillar. So apologies for misleading you with the pictures. Truly very sorry. This is on schooltube.com.
Ooh, okay. Let me look that up real quick.
That's not even Mark's favorite tube website.
Yeah. My favorite tube website is
Mine is YouTube.
Mine's like those PVC ones.
Oh yeah, where you can buy tubes.
.gov.
I'm tubing right now. They call me. Oh, what is going on?
What did you unplug something?
Yes.
Oh my.
Yeah, I unplugged my
What is it
computer.
called? School tube?
Yeah,
We
School
made
Tube.
fun of it so much I forgot the actual name. There you go, schooltube.com.
It's a video. You just have to kind of just mute the video.
This
and
is
just-
like when you go to the computer lab and it's like, all right, everyone, go to SchoolTube.
Yeah.
Like, see some horrid animation of
yeah,
something.
and then
Teaches
on
you
a
2 plus 2.
in a second tab I have coolmathgames.com.
Yeah, and then each time Mr. Harvey from Coyote Ridge Elementary, I'm
Oh,
calling
yeah.
you out by name.
Yeah,
right
Mr.
now.
Weinstein comes out
Oh yeah,
because Mark's from LA.
yeah.
And
That was actually when I lived in Colorado. Nice try.
Everyone there is Harvey Weinstein.
Every teacher there. He called me into his office because we were doing a section on like rainforests, and me and kid pics and my endless well of pure comedic gold. I took the little splatter tool and purple and drew behind a giraffe, a picture of clip art giraffe,
Okay.
under the premise that the giraffe had farted.
Oh my god.
Dude comes up to me and goes, "What's the purple stuff?" And I went, "He farted." And he goes, "That is not appropriate." And then made me start over. So my little grassland area only had like 2 animals compared to everyone else's.
Because
and
a
I
giraffe
think about
farted.
it a lot because Mr. Harvey, I can't say anymore.
Mr. Harvey, if you're listening, you better watch out.
Yeah, my name is Mark Saccone.
Yeah, you better
so
watch.
How about you try to step to this right
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
okay?
You watch your back,
I
Mr.
wanna-
Harvey.
I want to look him up later.
All
See
right.
what he's still doing. All
All
right,
right,
what page are we
let's-
on?
I think we're on the page with the pair now.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, SchoolTube.
Yeah.
On Tuesday, he ate through 2 pears, but he was still hungry. Yeah, he's just eaten a hole
Yeah.
through both of them.
He puts a perfectly circular hole through these 2 pears that are like.
He could have just done it through one. Like, there's no point in eating through 2 pears.
Yeah, I
You should
know.
eat 1 whole.
Yeah.
I'm on a different thing than you, but I'm still
Are
getting
you?
the same
I mean,
thing.
yeah.
This is just someone taking pictures of a book.
Oh, that
but-
works better.
Yeah. Yeah, it does, actually.
Okay,
On
sorry.
Wednesday, he ate through 3 plums, but he was still hungry. That's funny reading it like it's a report.
And see, I don't know if you're familiar with the pictures of the Very Hungry Caterpillar, but you know, he's got the 3 plums, and they're all just like they all look extremely fucked up, like weirdly colored, like extremely discolored, and.
Okay,
and-
but that's Eric Carl's style.
Well, yeah.
And I highly respect it.
Okay, well, you know what, Eric Carl, what kind of universe are you living?
It's
what kind
also
of world?
doing this thing. I don't think you get it
See.
on yours, but each time a food is added, a hole is added to the page. So like, as it goes
Oh,
through,
I'm not getting that.
yeah,
I'm
that's right.
jealous.
It's just little bit of 3D storytelling for the chillins out there,
Wow.
the ankle biters, if you will.
Wow.
Anyway, on Thursday he ate through 4 strawberries, but he was still hungry.
It's a good
Yeah,
newscaster voice.
it's just funny to be reporting on the very hungry
Reporting on the
caterpillar.
very hungry.
And on Friday he ate through 5 oranges, but he was still hungry.
I like it with the spooky music in the background too.
Oh man!
Oh my
this is-
god,
this
he
is a
was
loaded page.
still hungry after 5 oranges. Okay,
On
well,
s-
so on the page with the strawberries, it's him eating through 4 strawberries with, perfectly circular holes.
I'm not gonna lie. I respect the move of eating through them more because now that I know that it's like a 3D thing. Like I get that.
No, I still don't respect it.
Okay.
You know what? I have more to say on this topic later. Don't
I
you
know
worry.
you've told me you've prepared for
Oh
this.
yeah, I'm very
worried,
I'm very
so-
prepared for Act 3 of Theme Room Part
Alright.
2.
Next day, the weekend. What is he
Yeah.
gonna eat? He's probably gonna like
Some
throw
other
back some
fruit.
brews, maybe. Watch the big game.
Yeah, of course.
But no. On Saturday, he ate through 1 piece of chocolate cake, 1 ice cream cone, 1 pickle, 1 slice of Swiss cheese, 1 slice of salami. Hold on, I need to switch pages. I'm finding the next page. 1 lollipop, 1 piece of cherry pie, 1 sausage, 1 cupcake, and 1 slice of watermelon. What I think is funny about this is that he ate through 1 slice of Swiss cheese.
Yeah, that I was gonna comment on that.
He could have just.
He could have just gone through the hole.
He could have just lied about
Yeah.
it. He could have just been like, "Yeah, you see that? That's me right there."
See look how much Swiss cheese
You know
I
what they
ate.
call it? Because I went to Switzerland.
Yeah.
And they went, "That looks cool." And then they've introduced the caterpillars, i.e., me,
Yeah.
to eat through it and give it its classic look.
Yeah, exactly.
All because this pickle and this chocolate cake is not satisfying. It's not even wetting my palate.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah. You think your ice cream, your pink ice cream cone can satisfy me?
It is weird
Yeah,
how
no.
the volume of food he was eating
Yeah.
went like linear, increasing 1 item per day.
Yeah.
Even though, well, now the argument, because on day 1 he eats through 1 apple.
An
Day
apple.
2 he eats through 2 pears.
Yeah.
Day 3 he eats through 3 plums, which I'm pretty sure are smaller than pears.
Absolutely.
Then
Yeah.
day 4 he eats through 4 strawberries.
Yeah,
Those
for-
are tiny.
Yeah, that's like nothing. That's
So like, while you think he's eating more, he's still eating through like 1 hole, and like now you got to think of the diameter.
Yeah,
of the
right.
thing.
It's like
Strawberries are tiny. He
no
barely ate
wonder.
anything.
No wonder you're still hungry.
Yeah, well, I mean, on Saturday, there's no reason he binged himself. Oh, dude, are we gonna see the caterpillar purging later because
Oh
he ate
yeah,
so much?
that's actually the dark ending.
Yeah. if you look down one of the holes
Yeah.
of the book, then you get to see the,
You have
the
to
different endings.
you have to put your fingers in the holes in the proper order.
Benjamin Andrew Walter, are you ever going to read Goosebumps Choose Your Scare and let people call in and tell them what you want to do?
Oh, should I do that next
I think
weekend?
you absolutely
for
should
the
do that.
for the Halloween special.
Yeah, you should have it so that like you have the phones open and first person to call in gets to like pick what you do.
Okay, I might actually do that.
That's a sick idea. You got that one pro bono right off of me. Anyway,
It says 1 slice of salami, but it's pretty clearly the salami is sliced, and he's eating through the whole thing, right?
yeah, so that's
like-
just like
like-
it's like a piece of paper.
Yeah, no. You take a salami and you slice it, right? And you have like the
Yeah.
little discs. Those are the slices,
Mhm.
but it's only halfway sliced. So he's eating through the whole salami.
Yeah,
and
the
not
the hole that like goes through the page is of like because it shows that there's like half a salami and then like 3 slices of it.
Yeah, exactly.
But
That's
it's
what I'm
just
talking about.
through the whole salami.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I
like
mean.
how we're
It's
just like tearing into this like best-selling children's.
yeah, you know what?
book.
Eric Carle should really have considered.
I wonder what he's up to. I know that reading this when I was like in 1st grade.
Yeah,
and,
he's,
like, my art
he's definitely
teacher
dead.
Was like, this is Eric Carle, and I was like, yeah, dude.
Oh my
art.
God, he's alive.
How old is he?
He's 91.
Hell yeah. Yo, call in.
Eric Carle, call in.
Call me on my phone number. You can find it online. Probably, if you know what to do. Anyway, there's a cool little picture of the caterpillar next to the cupcake.
Oh yeah, he looks deranged.
All right, let me get.
It's
The next day was Sunday again, so it's been 1 whole week.
no, you
Huh?
you didn't read the part about him having a stomach ache.
Oh, geez, I didn't. Does this
Yeah,
even have that?
That night he had a stomach ache. That's Saturday night, and that's the little picture of the caterpillar looking just absolutely
Oh, I don't get that on mine.
in pain.
Anyway, next
Despair.
page is caterpillar walking down a leaf. The next day was Sunday again. The caterpillar ate through one nice green leaf, and after that he felt much better, which makes sense because he'd been eating pretty good foods.
Yeah.
And then Saturday, see, this is the purging
Yeah.
part.
Yeah. This is the bin. Yeah.
Now he's just eating his greens.
He goes, okay, I need to
kicking
eat this
back.
leaf. It doesn't say this, but it's actually a marijuana leaf.
We're calling that the Paul Burka on a Saturday night. I was in his house. Dude made a bowl of only spinach and then just ate it.
They're gonna say eating 1 marijuana leaf.
No. Paul would never. But he would, however, eat a bowl,
Just eat a bowl of
of
spinach on a
spinach,
Saturday
which
night.
I respect.
Hey, Paul Burka, if you're listening, shout out. Eat more spinach. Eat your greens, Paul.
Eat a spinach right now.
Yeah.
I dare you.
Send a video
Bitch.
to at Grabbag Radio.
Send a video over the radio wave. We'll
Yeah,
see it.
this is a radio.
All right. Now he wasn't hungry. Oh, wow. This is a big guy.
Yeah,
Now he wasn't hungry anymore, and he was a little caterpillar. And he wasn't a little caterpillar anymore.
wasn't.
He was a
caterpillar.
big, fat caterpillar.
Yeah,
wow.
he's so big,
really
and
tearing into it.
he really should go to
Eric Carle
rehab.
really conceptualized this book, built up this character,
Yeah.
and then just like cut
Yeah.
him down
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
and the
He's
picture.
a big, fat, stupid caterpillar.
The picture
now.
is a really big fat.
just a dumb idiot
fat.
caterpillar.
Really fat caterpillar.
I bet he doesn't have any friends.
Yeah, definitely not. He's
what
too
an
fat.
idiot! Look at this guy. All right, now next page, it looks like it's like it now looks like a kebab.
Yeah, he turned into a what is it, like a gyro or like a shawarma, you know, like the big like gyrating meat cylinder.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah, that's what he's turned himself into.
He built a small house called a cocoon around himself. He stayed inside for more than 2 weeks. Then he nibbled a hole in the top of the cocoon, pushed his way out, and ellipses. Well, he built himself a small house called a cocoon. I thought it was called a chrysalis.
Yeah, I think this might have been written before the word chrysalis was invented.
Get fricked, Eric Carl.
Yeah, come on, Eric Carl.
Nibbled a hole in the cocoon, pushed his way out, and ellipses. Next page.
This is a cliffhanger. You can find out in the Very Hungry Caterpillar 2.
That's correct, but it
Caterpillar
does,
harder.
The last one is just a picture of a beautiful butterfly. Yeah. Is that the caterpillar? It doesn't say. It's just a picture. It
says he was a beautiful butterfly.
Oh, it does?
Yeah, does it not say that?
Not on this baby.
Oh my
right
god!
here.
It says he was a beautiful butterfly, and then it's a picture of the caterpillar as a beautiful butterfly.
Well, that's wild. Hold on, let me look something up real quick.
Are you about to look up beautiful butterfly?
No. So, okay, yeah. So the first time I read this book, I would say was the first time I remember reading it was in first grade because my art teacher was introduced us to art and was talking about Eric Carl and his style of art.
Right.
The painted lady butterfly has a lifespan of 12 months. So the first time I read this book versus now, there could have been, geez, I don't even want to do the math, but definitely over 10 generations of butterflies.
Of very hungry caterpillars.
Yeah. To think that I knew, like, the great whatever caterpillar.
Wow.
That's a wild thought.
Incredible.
And
just think of how many.
Not that funny.
Think of how many there were before when Eric Carl wrote the book.
No, none of them existed before I saw it.
The world didn't exist until I was born.
Yeah. All right. Well, there's that.
Yeah, we're now transitioning to a Joe Rogan thing where I just talk about DMT and I go, whoa, what if the world just exists in my mind?
Have you ever seen that chimp?
Have you ever seen the chimp that smokes weed? Have you seen the chimp that yells and is owned by the guy from Tiger King?
Yeah, remember Tiger King? Remember that was a thing?
No, do you remember? Did you see the video of Sugriva, the chimp?
No.
Where you're not familiar with chimp video?
You just referred to a chimp by its first name and expected me to. I know Coco the gorilla.
Yeah, do you know Travis? You gotta know Travis. The chimp.
I know Caesar.
You know Travis the chimp.
No.
He's the one who ripped off that woman's face and hands.
Okay, well I didn't know his name.
Oh my.
I know Harambe. I guess that's a pretty big one.
Yeah.
And then that one that went to the moon.
No, Sugriva is the one. There's a video of him, and the owners just keep asking, "Is it dinner time?" And the chimp is just going ape shit because he thinks it's dinner time.
Well, to him, it's just going shit.
Yeah, I'm gonna kill you. Yeah, but that chimp is owned by the guy from Tiger King.
Really?
Yeah, the one who like has a harem, Doc or whatever the fuck his name is.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty sick. That's the life, though. You just
I'm the freaking Tiger King.
You go by Doc.
Yeah, they call me. I bet I didn't even go to med
Tier
school.
list of people named Doc.
Doc.
And the two people that are, there's three people on it. There's S tier, Doc Hudson, the Hudson Hornet from Cars.
Yes.
I would say C tier, Doc from Tiger King.
Yep.
And then I would say F tier, Doc Shaw played a character on The Sweet Life on Deck.
Oh yeah.
Who was there very quickly and then left like it was nothing.
Yep.
That's why he's F tier.
Yeah, I would say anyone who Bugs Bunny is talking to.
That's true.
That's probably C tier.
I'd say minimum C tier.
Yeah. I think it averages out because he talks to some really bad guys and some really good ones. So.
Doc Martens.
Oh yeah, he was a Nazi.
He was. Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's all I have right now.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I have some discussion questions that aren't really questions.
Oh man.
I have some analysis that I've done on this.
All right.
So this is regarding the Very Hungry Caterpillar and or the VHC as his friends, such as myself, refer to him.
Oh, you've met him?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. You haven't?
What was he like?
He was hungry.
Oh, really? I thought he wasn't hungry anymore.
No, he still is.
I thought he was. Did you see him? Like, what day did you see him on?
I saw him on Tuesday.
You saw him on Tuesday? Was
Yeah.
he eating through the pear?
Yeah, I saw him eating through the pear.
You saw him mid-eating
Yeah.
through... Was he on pear 1 or pear 2?
He was on pear 2.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
That's a rare one.
I saw a pear that had a perfectly circular
It
hole
was as
in
if
it.
he fired a gun.
Yes.
He loaded himself into a freaking revolver.
Yeah.
I'm doing my best to pull my punches here.
And he
but
blasted right through the pear.
yes. And then he ate it as well.
So, okay. So we're gonna start on the surface level, okay?
Oh no! So we're like, it's like that meme that's like the iceberg.
Yeah, the
and, like,
iceberg.
you get like deeper down, and it talks about things no one's heard of.
Yeah. So here's some, just some surface level.
You've unplugged the thing again.
I keep unplugging the thing.
Yes.
Some surface level comparisons, right? There is obviously a metamorphosis in both instances. Both Gregor, metamorphosizing into a bug,
He
and
did.
the VHC metamorphosizing
You
into.
are not going to bring the game theory up that Gregor is the very hungry.
No, I'm
caterpillar.
not bringing that game
All
theory
right,
up.
fine.
Don't worry.
Hello, internet. Welcome to welcome to film theory.
Welcome to book theory.
Yeah.
No, I'm going more in depth than that.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, the VHC turns into a beautiful butterfly, a BB, if you will.
Okay. We're into abbreviations now. What are they
Yes.
called?
Yeah, those are acronyms.
Acronyms.
Yeah.
That's what it is. That's the word. All right. So the VHC turns into a BB.
Right. And eating is a large, common theme. It's a motif, if you will, between the two. Was not really shown in the first chapter of the Metamorphosis, but it is. I'm going to, spoil
If you know the
it.
deep lore.
Yeah, if you've read it before, if not, keep in mind this analysis when I finish it next week, or in 2 weeks, whenever I do it. Anyways, eating. Gregor, he goes to eat for the first time, like after being a bug, and he goes to drink a bowl of milk, which he says is normally his favorite drink. However, now he does not want anything to do with it. It's just tastes bad to him. He just completely turned off by the milk.
His bones are gonna go frail.
Yeah, his little bug bones. Do bugs have bones? No, they have exoskeleton.
Yeah, the exoskeleton.
Yeah.
Like from the movie Avatar, they have those like big things that they walk around on Pandora with.
You're thinking of aliens.
No, I'm not. I'm thinking of the man-made robot things.
Yeah,
that
from
they walk-
Aliens.
It's called Mantis in
Yeah.
Halo 4.
Oh.
It's those things that they walk
Oh
around
yeah.
in.
Oh yeah.
And then Master Chief goes, "I'm in Avatar."
I'm on Pandora.
Hi, Master Chief here.
Cortana.
Popular movie Avatar.
Cortana, these people are blue like
Cortana,
you.
I found the Avatar.
Cortana, are you one of these blue people? And then he gets
Chief.
court-martialed because for racism against blue people.
Sir, Chief, what are you doing, sir? Fucking this blue animal person. Alien.
Fucking this.
Ben just said another slur. He muted his mic though. Ben did not say slur.
Oh my god. Okay. So the Kafka-esque world of the Metamorphosis. See,
Okay.
I had to use that word. It's kind of reflected in the horrifying, bizarre illustrations of The Very Hungry Caterpillar by Eric Carle. You look at them, it's like they're so just slightly off because of the colors and the brush strokes. It's truly Kafka-esque. There's this darkness and strangeness that kind of envelops and permeates throughout both worlds, kind of uniting them in the same bubble of fear.
The KEVHC that turns into a BB.
Exactly.
Yeah. I just dropped a mouse.
So, in a way, actually, these two works are perfect inversions of each other.
Really?
Yes. Ask me how.
If you were to say that the two were perfect inversions of each other, then how would you back that up if you were hypothetically?
So, the Metamorphosis, it starts with Gregor's metamorphosis and ends, spoiler alert. Why did I do that voice?
That wasn't you. That was just a random guy.
Yeah, he yelled it to the window.
Yeah, he heard you about to spoil the metamorphosis.
Well, it ends with his death.
Whoa.
Yeah. However, the very hungry caterpillar. Okay, so I'm gonna use the full name to refer to the book, but the character is called the VHC.
That is correct.
Yeah. So in the very hungry caterpillar, it begins with the birth of the VHC, and ends with his metamorphosis.
Yes.
So it's the opposite, right? Metamorphosis to death versus birth to metamorphosis. And on top of this, another way that there's this perfect inversion going on is it starts, Gregor, he transforms into something horrible, this disgusting, horrible bug. Meanwhile, the VHC transforms into something beautiful. He goes from an ugly little bug into a beautiful butterfly.
So he goes like from you to me.
Exactly.
Yes.
So it's again, just this parallel, this inverse parallelism, as they say.
I like the little hand motion.
Yeah, I'm just kind of twisting my hands
Ben
around.
just did the sign language
Yeah,
for inverse parallelism.
Let me turn my camera on and you can see it.
Yeah. This is actually a Zoom call.
Yeah, this is a Zoom. Zoom in to the theme room.
Yeah, the password is theme12, and then we'll let you in your breakout room.
All right. Yeah, so that's kind of like the surface level, kind of the surface level stuff. Now let's explore kind of the deeper connections between the two, which obviously, as I'm sure any avid reader would have gleaned from these two stories, it's very clearly the conflict or a contrast between hedonism and asceticism, and about how God is cruel and punishes those who are good.
Ben's cheating because he has notes with big words on his phone.
These are notes that I wrote.
Fair enough. I've been checkmated.
Yeah, you have. So, right, so you have the VHC, who is a hedonistic glutton.
Yes.
And he eats all he wants and doesn't care about anyone else.
Yes.
In fact, he just eats, the perfect hole through all of his food, which makes it inedible to anyone else.
That's correct.
But he doesn't even use all of it, right? So he's eating just enough to make the humans, if there's humans in this world, which I assume there are, he's eating just enough to make it, useless, so they have to throw it away, which is just extremely selfish.
Sinning.
Yeah, he's a sinner, if you will. Meanwhile, Gregor, on the other hand, is an ascetic who lives very simply and works and kind of deprives himself of joy for his family. He does it for the greater good. And he pours, his entire life is dedicated to helping his family, to helping others. And what does he get for it, Mark? What does he get?
He gets turned into a bug.
Yeah, he gets punished for it by a cruel and vengeful, unfair God.
So what you're saying here is Gregor. I'm gonna say it. Gregor starts out a beautiful man.
Yeah.
A beautiful young man.
Gregor is extraordinarily handsome.
A hard-working, beautiful young man, and ends up a disgusting, horrid bug.
His only crime? Loving his family too much.
Yeah. And you brought up he works for the greater good. I wouldn't even say that. I would just say he's a selfless person.
Yeah.
So then in the very hungry caterpillar, starts out as a little caterpillar. I'll say it, an ugly.
Oh, absolutely.
Caterpillar.
He gets
VHC,
uglier too.
Yeah. And then he's a gluttonous sinner throughout the entire novel.
Yes.
Novella, as it were.
Yeah, exactly.
And this dude, whatever God governs the universe of Gregor and the very hungry caterpillar.
It has to be the same God.
It has to be.
I have no doubt.
They're on not only the same universe, but the same world, and the God that governs that world looks upon the very hungry caterpillar and smiles.
Yes.
But Gregor, oh no.
Yeah.
He doesn't see what he's doing is
he's
only benefiting the wrong person.
Exactly. Yeah. He rewards the VHC for his crimes, for his sins.
Maybe if Gregor lived a little, he'd be cool.
Yeah, exactly.
I bet he didn't even own cool sunglasses.
Yeah, you know.
You couldn't put them on. And
What does the caterpillar?
I'm not saying the caterpillar doesn't. I'm saying that the caterpillar was cool.
Oh, he was cool. He didn't have a need for sunglasses because he was
Yeah,
already cool.
yeah.
I see. I mean, yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Like, I'll say it. I'm into bad boys. You know.
Right.
If I saw Gregor and the very hungry caterpillar side by side, and I'm like, out, looking to go home with someone, I'm picking the caterpillar every day of the week.
Absolutely.
Except Saturday, because he's a gluttonous little fuck that day.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. You really think? Yeah. He's gonna go out and he's gonna expect you to pay for all his food.
Yeah. You kidding me? You're really gonna eat Swiss cheese and whatever else?
A pickle,
And
a chocolate cake, a lollipop, an ice cream cone, a muffin,
Who has money for a lollipop these days?
a salami, a slice of watermelon. Are you serious?
Dude's gonna go, yo, can I get a salami? And I'm like, yeah, here you go. Hand him a little slice. Reaches for the whole thing. Takes one little bullet-sized bite through it. And that's it.
I know.
That's all she wrote.
I know. So, I mean, obviously this inclines me to believe that this god is some sort of trickster god, who smiles upon the devious. I mean, this is even, this goes further, I have more evidence to back this up. If you look at the symbol of the apple, which, of course, in the Bible, it represents knowledge and sin, being the forbidden fruit, the original sin. And in the Metamorphosis, this hasn't happened yet, but it happens later. Spoiler alert. But Gregor's father throws an apple at him, right? He throws the apple, and it gets lodged in his hard carapace, which injures him, and the apple decays while it's embedded. And this eventually, this hurts him. It kind of cripples him. Really not good stuff for Gregor, and it eventually leads to his death. So this is kind of, representative of how Gregor rejects sin, right? He is too good of a person, right? He's not letting that apple, get to him. Like he's not.
It finds him.
Yeah, it finds him, but he doesn't, he doesn't eat the apple.
Yeah.
He has it. It gets stuck in him, but that's the point. He has a protective exoskeleton. And so he rejects sin and was, I would go so far as to say that he's a model individual for, he would fit in a model society.
Gregor wakes up as a beetle, and the first thing he thinks is, how am I going to get to work today?
Exactly.
The very hungry caterpillar is born, and immediately is, where's my next meal?
Yeah, exactly.
Give it to me.
Yeah, and Gregor hates his job.
The world that owes me nothing, bestow upon me my next meal.
Exactly.
Gregor
Gregor doesn't even.
For it? Jack diddly squat.
Gregor doesn't even want to go to. He doesn't even like his job. He does it for his family. But you know what? This doesn't matter to this god.
Does not owe the world a goddamn dime, yet feels as though he is owed not only food but a chrysalis.
Exactly.
To transform him
Yeah.
to a more beautiful plane.
Yeah. Hold on, I'm about to sneeze.
And just like that, I have COVID. Thank you very much, Ben Andrew Arthur.
You are welcome. But the VHC, he just rips right through that apple. Day one, not even hesitating, right out of the egg, just tearing through an apple. You know why? Because he embraces the sin. He has absolutely no reservation about sinning. He loves it. He can't get enough. And he is rewarded for it. And I think that is it's just so unfair.
Gregor, doing nothing wrong, wishing to live his life selflessly. But the caterpillar, here, have you considered this, Ben?
What?
Maybe
lay it on me.
Maybe the punishment is being turned into a horrid bug. We don't know. Maybe the metamorphosis, the first metamorphosis for the VHC occurred before the book began, because all it starts with is there was an egg on a leaf. How'd that egg get there? Maybe he was maybe he was a normal creature, and then lived too good of a life and was then smited, confined to that egg on a leaf.
Oh.
Inside of the egg, he festered and thought upon his actions, and inside, just welling inside of him was this feeling of, well, I don't know the world anything. I've done nothing but good and been confined inside of this egg. Once I get out of here, I don't know the world a goddamn dime.
That's a good point. That is an excellent
Comes
point.
out of the comes out of the egg as a caterpillar, immediately gets to work. His gluttony ends up getting to him on Saturday, having a stomach ache,
Right.
and goes, maybe let's dial it back.
Right.
Eats the leaf that he was birthed upon.
Yeah. Which is that is a potent symbol.
Yes. And then after that, I think, after eating the leaf that we first find him on, only then is he granted it is after that. Only then is he granted to be able to make a cocoon and transform to the higher plane.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Butterfly.
Absolutely. So I've been Googling trickster gods.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Loki?
I've been trying to find, which one could theoretically be governing
Well,
this.
I can name a few. I got Loki. I got the Joker. I got Hero Brine.
Well, here's one. You may know him. You may very well know this one. His name is Bugs Bunny.
Ooh.
Yeah, this is on the Wikipedia list of tricksters.
Wow.
And could you repeat his first name for me?
Oh no.
Oh
His
yeah.
first name is Bugs.
Yeah, his first name is Bugs.
Man.
And into what are both Gregor and the VHC transformed?
Well, by golly, they're transformed to bugs.
Yeah. So I think we got it.
Yeah.
I think
We know the higher power.
if you put these pieces together,
Yeah.
not only are Gregor and the VHC in the same world, but they are direct opposites
I
of
walked
each other.
into the theme room and there's a 9-foot by 10-foot whiteboard with red lines drawn between pictures, and I walked in and the first thing I questioned but bit my tongue was just Bugs Bunny in all caps with a question mark next to it. And I saw that and I went, you know what? I know that Ben hasn't left this room in probably 3 weeks. Just looking up weird literature to read, fantasizing about the next Sunday at 8 p.m. But just seeing this, it's like, damn, Ben's in here wearing one of those hats that the Sphinx wears, and just strutting around like he's an Egyptian pharaoh. Those type of beetles, from the Mummy and shit.
Oh yeah,
And then I walk in, full Joker makeup, looking like a vagrant from the neck down. And I go, what is going on in here? And Ben begins to spew his propaganda about the higher power.
I point to
controlling
Bugs Bunny.
Yes.
All right, you know what really is the nail in the coffin here?
What is the nail in the coffin?
There is
the dagger.
There is a Looney Tunes short, right? The show in which Bugs Bunny is.
If you think Looney Tunes, 9 times
for.
out of 10 you're gonna go Bugs Bunny.
Exactly, but
the
you know what?
10th time you're gonna say Michael Jordan.
There's a show or a short. It's called The Bug Parade. So I think what we can glean from this is that Bugs, this nefarious trickster god, has transformed both Gregor and whatever individual the VHC formerly was into these insects for this bug parade.
He's just gathering thralls for his parade.
Yes.
Is all he's doing.
Yes, he's just trying to have a bug parade.
And the more beautiful they are, the more hellish they are within.
Yes. That's the twisted part about it.
That's why Gregor was not only hideous but also dies, because he couldn't accept his new fate of being the chosen sinner.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. This is something.
This is. It's you know how the Joker is known for being extremely handsome?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, I'm familiar with that stereotype.
You know how handsome and beautiful the Joker is with his makeup, and how hot Jared Leto is? It's because
that's the Joker you're choosing?
of course.
Okay.
That's the only Joker to me.
Okay.
It's because the most twisted among us are the most beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's profound.
Yeah.
Right
And
there.
that is the message that Eric Carle was trying to convey.
Man, to think when I was being taught this in first grade, that I was really learning about the Joker movie.
Oh.
2019.
No chance. No, you're thinking of Suicide Squad.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Wow. To think it's all been unraveled. Right
Oh yeah,
here.
yeah.
We've really pulled back the curtain.
These are the kind of insights that you can only get from the theme.
You can only
room.
get bi-yearly theme room.
Yeah, you can come back another 6 months
Yep,
to
when I make the next virus.
the theme virus.
Yeah.
The theme room is actually the only safe place.
That's true. It's the only holdout. That's why you haven't left.
Yeah.
You made me like walk through one of those tunnels where like they disinfect you from radiation before getting in here.
I'm wearing a spacesuit.
Yeah.
There's no reason. I just am.
And you're also wearing moon shoes.
Yeah, I'm wearing
to get the full effect. I walked over and Ben bounded to the door and
Yeah.
opened it for me, and I was like, wow. Not gonna lie, kind of sick, kind of jealous.
There's a pair of moon shoes for anyone here in the theme room. It's hidden in the secret closet.
Yeah, in the theme closet.
Yeah, it's with the secret guy.
I was killing Ben yesterday with I would change the lyrics to songs. And each time, but Ben was on a thing where he would keep looking up and he would keep just saying new songs. And within 3 seconds, I would convert them.
I think the one that did me in was the Grinch.
Oh, yeah. So he said something about the Grinch. Or no, it was like someone was in green. Ben said, oh no. Ben then said, oh, it's the Grinch. And my mind jumped to the song from the Grinch. And then
you know the song.
If you follow me on Twitter, I have a thing where I've hardwired my brain to convert lyrics to songs, and pardon my French, to put in "suckin' dick, I'm gay" or something into them.
Yes.
So
something
right
along
when Ben
those
says
lines.
The Grinch, I go suck my fucking gay penis, and then go off of like a riff on that for like 20 minutes, and Ben is like turning blue from being unable to breathe.
Dude, this one's by Jim Carrey.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, this is Surfin' USA, which is the one that initially did psychic damage to
Some
me.
of my best work.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can fill in the blank. But in case
There's
you can't.
probably a good 3 hours that I could not stop thinking about Surfin' USA. Suck a dick, I'm gay. There's a song by Trippie Redd called "The Grinch." I have no intention on listening to that.
I think you should make intention.
All right.
Fun fact: that song is just him
Just.
narrating the book "The Grinch." It's an audio book. It's Trippie Redd
Oh my
going.
god.
I don't know how he talks, but I'm gonna pretend he talks like this. The song begins.
Watch out! Don't be careful. Be careful with this one.
No, he goes, "Hello, everyone. This is Trippie Redd
He
here.
just-
I will now be reading The Grinch by Dr. Seuss." And then he reads it.
I'm gonna do the Chris Rock voice
Yeah.
to read the. No, I'm not.
You're gonna be Marty
Yeah.
from. The first thing that popped into my head is Zaboomafoo, and that's not what it's from. It's from Madagascar.
Zaboomafoo. You fool.
No.
You're as cuddly as a cactus.
Oh, this
and
is
as
bad.
Yeah, this is the one by Jim Carrey.
Oh, of course. I can just see. I can hear.
You
him
can
making
see
faces.
you can hear his face.
Yeah, he's like scrunching.
I
his
think
face.
that's how we create video radio.
Yeah.
Yeah,
just
we
have
need
Jim Carrey
we need to
speak.
harness Jim Carrey. We need to extract his essence. and bottle it up and put it in the radio veins.
Yeah, and the radio veins. And here it's like just like vacuum tubes that are like glowing.
There's
and
a
the one,
huge
and the one
vat.
for video is empty.
There's this big bubbling vat.
Yeah, we walked in here and Ben has this cauldron that has been brewing for I don't know how long.
Yeah, that's why at the beginning I said this is my potion that's brewing. But I forgot to hit record.
This bubbling cauldron, yeah. That one's lost to the ether.
Should I open the phones?
I mean, the phone number is still. I was thinking of just calling the phone.
Yeah, you could just call whatever.
Because the tweet is
by
still up.
open the phones, I mean tell people to call in. Like it's not like I say.
I'll tell you right now. I'll give a word of warning to anyone who wishes to call in.
Especially if your name is Mitch.
If you call in, this is what's gonna happen. All right, we're gonna hear ring ring. Oh, that's the phone, and then we pitter patter our little feet over. And then Ben adjusts the mic to put it in front of the phone. It goes, because that's the mic arm. It squeaks.
Yes.
And then he picks up the phone. Hi, you're on Theme Room. What's your name? Oh yeah, hi. It's Mitch. Click. Hang up. I don't even want to hear it. If I hear meh, bang, you're gone. Your name doesn't even have to be Mitch. I don't care where you're from. Albuquerque.
Mitch from I don't freaking care.
Yeah, more like Mitch from.
You could be Mitch Daniels, and I would punch you in the face.
Man, that sucks that you've ruined the reputations for all Mitches to me. And the president of my school is named Mitch.
Well, you know what? At least he's not a Cheeto.
Mitch. At least he's That's
a little callback.
That's what we call a callback in the business.
This is The Grinch by Trippie Redd.
You know when Dr. Seuss wrote that book. He had this in mind.
Yeah.
Life is like a motherfucking dream. Fill my double cup up with some lean. Yeah, put my dick in your bitch plane.
That has nothing to do with the Grinch.
So let's.
What? Okay. Okay.
My life is a dream. Drink lean, and then put my member in your lady.
In your woman.
It's like, okay, dude.
All right.
Imagine Dr. Seuss.
I don't see how this has anything to do with the Grinch.
Imagine Dr. Seuss's wife writing the book The Grinch. That's right, I said it.
Imagine Dr. Seuss's mistress that he had while his wife was dying of cancer.
Oh, that's funny. You have the not that his wife was dying of cancer, but I actually have a poster from the Illumination Animations movie of The Grinch.
I forgot about that.
I have a poster of that in my room.
And
each time I see it, I just have a connection with The Grinch. I've never seen the movie. And I don't intend to, but I love having a poster of The Grinch.
You commune with The Grinch. You do the thing from Avatar where your little hair tendrils.
Yeah. And I just become Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
Or whoever.
Yeah, you become Jim Carrey and you do the Jim Carrey face. You know the one.
And then I go on SNL.
Yeah. you become Joe Biden.
Yes.
All right, yeah, if you want to call in. Actually, let me make sure this mic works first.
Yeah, that would be a good call.
Test.
Sounds good here.
That was so... I maxed out.
Nice.
I maxed out the mic.
Ben put his face right into the mic. He deep-throated the microphone to say test.
Yeah,
And then he said it with his throat.
It came all the way out the other end. It snaked through my entire digestive tract. Okay, yeah, if you want to call in, call 765 494-9774. Let me make sure. Yeah, or 765-494-9773.
Toll free.
That's 765-494-9774. 765-494-9773. Yeah, if you call, you have to pay me $100.
That's true.
Yeah, you can
it's
Venmo
a
me.
collect call, but reverse.
Yeah.
If you decide to call in, you will be paying.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
What if we prank called people from these phones?
That'd be funny. Then they wouldn't be able to track us.
Do you want to prank call Mitch from Albuquerque?
No.
Okay.
I don't want to have any interaction with that man. He's still blocked on Twitter.
I know, and he complains about it.
Does he? I couldn't tell.
No, he doesn't, but I send him... I sent him the one tweet where you said, I'm really glad I can't see what this bitch is saying.
Yeah.
I sent him that.
You're pulling down the curtain, Ben.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to see what I say.
What if we called and ordered a freaking pizza to the White House?
Yo, that would be sick. That'd be such an epic.
Hi,
thing.
can I get an extra large pie, please?
No, you call like Walmart.
Can I get a
like,
pizza pie?
Here's what you do: you call up Instacart. That's right, you call them. And
I'm
you say,
calling.
And you say, yeah, let me get a bag of Cheetos to the office. Oh, I'm sorry. I must be mistaken because it appears there's already one present in the White House. Thank you very much. Boop, hang up. Fucking got him.
Hi,
dude.
I would like to order one bomb. I'm not gonna finish this sentence because.
Is that so? Where would you like that to go, Ted?
I'm sorry, I'm losing connection.
Ben just left the Zoom call room.
I was caught tubing.
Oh, I'm getting a text. It says Ben said his internet cut out.
Yeah.
So he has lost connection to the call, and now it's just me, the star of Theme Room. That's right. Oh, Ben has muted his microphone. Let's go into the bowels here. That's something I can talk about for hours on end.
Yeah, we're getting inside Mark's bowels because he really likes that.
That's right.
Yeah, because Mark's.
As I said, I walked in here and Ben is wearing one of those Sphinx hats. Ben likes to pretend he's a pharaoh.
I don't know what you're talking about.
How do you not? It's the hat that's on the Sphinx. It's like those like weird Egyptian hats.
Is that a
things
hat?
that's like gold and blue
Oh,
stripes.
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You have like those two little things. That
Like the
mummies
collar?
Hold. Yeah.
Yeah.
that thing.
Yeah.
You're like this. But I
Yeah.
walk in and Ben's in a coffin. He's like an Egyptian vampire.
Yeah, I
but
come
he's
out.
full mummified.
I come out and I say, I'm a mummy. Because that's what mummies say.
Yeah.
What do mummies say?
That was just Egyptian back in the day.
If I was a mummy, I would probably not put a curse on anyone because I'd be chill.
I would put a like really cool curse.
Yeah, you're cursed to be really hot.
I'm gonna make you grow. Like, if you find me, sorry, pal, you're 6'4".
What if he was already 6'6"?
If you're already 6'6", then I mean.
You shrink 2 inches.
No. All right. Well, okay. So if you're if you're not 6'4", then you get to become 6'4". If you're above 6'4", you die. You don't deserve to live.
This is short people only here.
Yeah, people below 6'4".
Oh yeah, and you would put the curse on to avoid giants.
Yeah,
Right, because those existed.
That's the people who I was worried about.
In the ancient
violent
Egyptian
mushrooms.
times.
That'd be really cool if you just like have a ton of money and you're like, yeah, no, actually, I want you to build a giant pyramid. I want to go to like middle of nowhere, like Canada or some shit, like in the Arctic Circle, and then have people build like a Chichen Itza to
Ooh,
me,
yeah.
and then bury my body in there.
Would you have like statues of yourself made?
Oh yeah, or like statues of like some weird god. Like just make it like and then write in
in like
runes.
I can think of at least one god, one trickster god.
Yeah, is it Rumpelstiltskin?
No, it's Bugs Bunny.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm calling back to that.
I was thinking of Rumpelstiltskin.
Okay, yeah, you would spin yarn into gold,
That's right.
spin wool into whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, you freaking would spin hay into what does he spin?
I don't know. The lady just has her spinning wheel and she spins it into gold. Is all I know.
What? But like, what does she turn into the gold?
A bug.
Oh my God! It's she spins straw into gold.
Yeah.
Buddy, how about you spin your straw into the recycling
How
bin?
about you spin me right round, baby, right round?
How about you spin a record?
How about ring around the frickin' Rosie? Okay. How about that?
How about that? Hey, do you remember last time you were in the theme room?
No, I forgot it.
And we found "Do the Gator" by
Oh, I do remember that.
what was the name of the band? Who was the guy? I remember it was something in the Sex Change Band.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure we're a Google search away to find out what "Doing the Gator" actually was.
It was Root Boy Slim in the Sex Change
Yeah.
Band.
I also remember calling out what's this guy's name? The Mark Thomas Experience.
Oh yeah.
Dude has his freaking slot is like Friday nights.
I think he's gone. I think he's like long gone.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Fuck you, Mark Thomas, and your experience. I'm glad I didn't have to experience you. Experience this, Mark Thomas. I'm flipping off with both of my middle fingers. Except I'm not actually. I got too close to my mic and Ben got scared.
You were being too quiet. You have
Oh,
to-
really?
Yeah.
Have I been quiet this whole time?
No. It's like the mics weirdly don't.
Oh,
work
yeah.
from the
Well, no, this
side.
is a different, like, kind of mic.
I know, that
though.
one is.
This one looks weird. It makes
Yeah.
me feel like I'm at an open mic.
Yeah, you are.
Hey, guys. I go up and they're
Mark has just turned his chair around and is now sitting. He's now straddling the back of it.
it's like I'm taking off my hat.
Yeah.
And like
He-
putting my it's like I'm like in a rodeo right
You
now.
just put you put just his thumb in his pocket.
If I'm on the bull for more than 4 seconds, then it counts. That's how the rodeo works.
Mark is nervously laughing to himself, and he just put on a cross necklace.
I did. I'm jumping downstairs dancing.
He's
to-
now introduced himself as a youth pastor.
I asked before coming on here. I said, "Hey Ben, before you introduce me, can you introduce me as Joker?" You're awful, Benjamin Andrew Walter. Inviting me on your show.
Do you can I hear another joke?
No, I've told you all mine. I'm plumb out of jokes actually.
Reverse Joker.
Yeah.
Recodge.
No, it's the Joker, but it's shut the fuck up. It's the Joker, but he didn't get traction onto Murray, and instead he was like a fan of some super niche podcast, and then he ends up like getting on their podcast, and then it doesn't play out
He
how
goes
the
on
Joker
he
plays
goes on
out.
Red Scare.
Yeah, he goes on the Red Scare podcast, and it's just like in someone's apartment, and then like because his original plan was to just shoot himself like in the freaking head
Right.
with his gun that he brought to Murray, but he just does that. They just invite him on their podcast to make fun of him. He just shows up to their apartment. He just blows his
He
brains
just
out.
kills
And they're
himself.
like, well, damn, now we have to deal with this.
Yeah, and you can't even see it because they haven't even figured out video radio in the Joker world.
Unless you're on the Patreon for Red Scare,
Oh yeah.
which
They-
I am.
They got Jim Carrey.
I'm the top tier.
They actually have Jim Carrey on it.
What the heck?
Yeah, and
He
that's
wasn't scared of Red.
no, and that's how they have the video radio.
Oh, that's wild.
It's because they use his
Because
juices.
of Jim Carrey.
They use his essence.
You have to use one of his humors, like bile.
Oh yeah, you have to use Jim Carrey's black bile.
I'm being a plague doctor in here.
Do you remember the song Black Beatles?
Yeah, it's about Gregor.
Holy shit.
It's weird that they had just previously read the Metamorphosis
Yeah,
before writing that song.
yeah,
and
and
then
then-
everyone did the mannequin challenge because they were like Gregor and stuck under his bed.
Oh
and
yeah,
couldn't move.
they got so scared that
Yeah.
they couldn't move. Black Beatles.
I like how we're on a radio show. You have full access to play the song, and you just decide to sing it a little bit. I hope Paul Burke is eating some damn spinach right now.
He texted. What's he saying?
Did he?
He says The Grinch by Trippie Redd is a banger. Paul, no, it's not.
I got a text actually 15 minutes ago that said, "What you say about my spinach?" How about I'm not telling you?
Hey Paul,
Okay.
how about I eat your spinach?
No. Hey, we
I'm-
like to have fun here.
I'm going to go to Paul
chill.
Burka's house. Go visit Paul Burka at. Should I say Paul's address?
No, you should not say Paul's address. That's the question I was just asked.
I did not ask that.
Let it be known that Ben asked that and then said the N-word 5 times. The
Somebody-
magic number.
Somebody else did it.
Ben opened a portal
It wasn't me. I was
to the alternate dimension.
yeah.
The inverted dimension.
Dark Ben came out
Yes.
and did it.
Dark Ben came. Well, he can actually say it.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't think he can, because he's still no in the dark dimension. It's reversed.
Oh, gotcha.
I guess he could say it if he came here.
Maybe.
So you
Should
know how
ask him.
there's like gender swap like episodes
What the
like
hell are you talking about?
there's like a gender swap episodes of a TV show or whatever.
No. Give me one example.
No.
You can't just say you know this thing.
No, it is a thing. It's like I can't I'm blanking.
Yeah. What are you talking
Never mind, forget it. Forget it. I'm looking up sound effects.
I looked up, yeah, it's like, you know that one episode of The Sopranos where Tony's a girl? And Big Pussy is also a girl? And he's just like...
Yes, I do.
Oh, fucking Big Pussy.
That-
Where's Anthony Jr.? Why the fuck is he playing Mario Kart? He's playing fucking Mario.
Okay, here's a. I'm just gonna play sound effects.
I had a good idea earlier today where you're just what the. Are you not plugged in?
No, I am.
Ben is currently scrolling through the Spotify playlist for airplane and helicopter sounds.
Oh, this is a good one.
Oh,
There's a dog barking indoors.
yeah. That's so weird that you started playing that right when an actual dog. Had
Yeah,
entered
there's.
the
Oh my
studio.
god! Look how many sound effects.
Come here, boy.
There are 150 helicopter and airplane sound effects on this
Wow.
album. That's a good one.
All right, so now we're in Vietnam. Good morning, Vietnam.
This is radio static
we've now
beeps.
left Vietnam.
This
It's
is-
time to wake up.
Wow, that
What?
that did some ASMR to me. Indoor bell for lunch break. Oh yeah, it's time for recess. That's not a recess bell.
It sounds like it's raining, so like maybe you have to stay inside the classroom today for recess.
Oh, I have to do indoor recess?
Yeah.
Okay, I want to be the car on Monopoly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You said that very like aggressively.
Yeah, okay, maybe some people were never allowed to be the car because others loved being the car Monopoly and would throw a fit if anyone else tried to take the car. Sorry.
I've only played Monopoly Fortnite edition, so I don't know.
Well, there's a car
Okay.
in regular Monopoly.
Okay. I've also only played Monopoly in real life. I own one, that is. I'm the CEO of...
No, you're not. You're
Okay,
lying. Okay, this
okay.
is American car sound. I don't care about car sound effects. These are lame sound effects. I'm going to look up cauldron bubbling.
Yes. 12 hours cauldron bubbling.
Cauldron bubbling. Bubbling cauldron. Here we go. That's...
You know how your cauldron makes that sound?
Yeah, does yours not? This is one by someone called Fiendish Imp.
It's actually a goblin, but nice try.
I like good reference.
Thank you.
Good
to-
reference
to
there.
your tweet.
Yeah, check out my tweet. Oh wait, you can't. I'm on private. Owned.
Gotcha.
Anyone who doesn't follow me is listening to this. Hey, if you do follow me and you haven't liked my tweet where I talk about goblins and imps, go like it right now.
I will say the biggest time I've ever owned Ben was when he said, retweet this and something will happen. And his account was on private, so that was the joke. You couldn't retweet it.
Yeah.
And then I caught him in a time of pure weakness.
Yeah,
where he
I
had
went
unprivated
I went
it.
off private probably to make fun of somebody
And
or
I quickly picked up on that
Yeah.
and scrolled back and retweeted it.
it was incredible.
Got his ass.
That happened to me again recently actually.
Yeah.
One of my other friends I tweeted the words Kanye East like 3 months ago.
Got him.
And then like a couple weeks ago I unprivated and my friend went all the way back to where I tweeted that and retweeted it.
Well, yesterday you went all the way back and retweeted Surfing USA, but it's sucking dick, I'm gay.
Well, yeah, but that's not because you went off private. It's
That's
because
true.
I was.
All of my tweets are pure gold.
It's because I had my brain destroyed.
Your brand.
What do you think of this song?
Well, I think, like, let's say I close my eyes, I
Yeah.
use echolocation and I hear it.
Yeah.
I'd say there's a cauldron somewhere. in this
Yeah.
room.
What's
I'm
it
just gonna
doing?
start uploading songs that are just like, I arrange my room in a certain way. Like I put furniture in certain areas, and then the song is 3 seconds long, and I just clap once. And it's a song for the blind, so they can get better at interior design. So that way they can use. I have like 9 microphones set up. It's an omnidirectional mic, which
you have
means
you have the like binaural head microphones.
yeah.
You have like 4 of those.
We're actually in that one room that's like the quietest room in the world where
Oh,
you can hear
yeah.
your blood flow. But we're
Yeah.
doing a radio show in there.
Yeah, that's what we're
I
doing.
can hear Ben's blood flow. Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Ben's blood is flowing.
That's the sound of my
and
blood.
it's going into a cauldron,
It's bubbling.
making a Ben humunculus creature.
I'm gonna put this one on repeat. Cause I'm brewing a potion. Okay, let's see if I can see how many people are listening. Oh wow, we went up 3 listeners. We have
Damn.
14.
And no one called.
Wow. Yeah, if you want to call in, that's 765-494-9773. 765-494-9774. Mark just threw something at
Yeah,
me.
I found a ball-like thing on the ground, so I threw it at Ben.
Mark wants to never be invited back to the theme room.
Yeah, well, I can't wait to be invited back in next year. Bitch.
Yeah. You know what? Maybe, me and Mark are living together next year.
Oh yeah, we are, aren't we?
We have the theme house.
Yeah. I swear to, oh my god, I just realized that has infinitely upped my chances of having at least one interaction with Mitch in the realm of the real world. And that depresses me to an unholy extent. Almost as if I am a caterpillar. That's how unholy.
Hey, can you
I am.
taste this? I give a spoonful of my potion that's bubbling in the cauldron.
He just
to Mark.
it's like a kebab. He just like pulls it out. We're getting a call. Here we go.
Yeah, here we
Theme
go.
room call, baby.
Hi.
You gotta
I don't
turn
know
it
how
on
I do this.
speaker.
There we go. Hi, you're on the theme room.
Hello.
Oh.
Hi, who is this?
Who could this be?
This is Jay-Z. I heard
Jay-Z.
you guys talking about goblins and other various creatures.
Indeed.
Sasquatch, Godzilla, King Kong, Loch Ness, Goblin, Ghoul, a zombie with no conscience. So I just have a question. What do these things all have in common? Everybody knows I'm a motherfucking monster.
Okay. Mr. Z. Or do you prefer... Okay, he hung up. I was going to ask him to taste our potion.
Well, I would say the thing that they all have in common is that they're all in your potion.
Yeah,
all in his bubbling crew.
I've
right
actually
now.
used all of... I'm making some sludge.
Mhm.
I got a big pot of sludge
He
bubbling
does.
right now.
It looks disgusting.
It's on the fireplace. Mark, can you hand me the poker, please?
Yeah, here you go. I'm taking it out. Shink! I'm taking it out of the wall because that's where it is.
Yeah.
And I'm now, ow! I accidentally poked myself.
Yeah, Mark poked himself with a fire poker.
Yikes! I'm not fire.
All right, I'm gonna look up more Halloween sound
That was
effects.
a funny little bit that Thomas Hembry just did.
Yeah, yeah. He didn't even. Oh no, he did tell us who he was. It was that was Jay-Z
Oh,
actually.
sorry, that was a funny thing that Jay-Z just did.
Mr. Z.
Damn, it's already 10 p.m.
I know. We're probably gonna have to go soon because
Yeah.
there's actually people after me. I think.
That blows.
Unless they don't show up, in which case,
I'm gonna leave.
a 3-hour
I'm gonna leave you to
Wait.
your own devices.
Wait, we have to listen to Evil Girl.
I'm gonna get you.
Okay, that's too scary. Evil Monster Piano.
Hey Ben, I actually, fun fact. Did you know that the song "The Monster Mash" is actually not
What?
about?
No.
With the song we're listening to. Get this, isn't the Monster Mash.
No.
It's a song about
No.
the Monster Mash.
Are you serious?
What I am telling you, Ben, is that nobody has ever heard the real Monster Mash. And that's pretty fucking wild, if you ask me.
No, I don't buy it.
I'm sorry, Ben, but I've seen 1 quintillion posts this Halloween season because people think that they're so smart, bringing up that everyone's favorite Halloween jam isn't actually whatever the hell it says it is.
My favorite Halloween.
I'm quirky and cool. Give me respect.
Like.
Thank you.
Retweet.
I will now retreat to my former location, tilted back, relaxing on my Eames chair. In my house falling water. Created by
Do
that
you
one
want
guy.
when we live in the house? Do you want to start a podcast?
No.
Yeah, I think that was a yes. That's not.
No.
That was a yes.
Okay. Well, but you're gonna have that room with the damn chimney. In
Oh
it,
yeah,
so
the chimney room, and then I just want to get sponsorships.
it's the theme house.
I just want to do ad reads. Should I? I'm
Yeah.
just gonna start doing that
just start doing ad reads
on
pro
this shit.
bono.
Yeah.
Everyone, make sure you buy the Very Hungry Caterpillar at your local Barnes and Noble.
This episode is brought to you by Audible. Actually, no, those are my competitors.
Yeah.
This episode is not brought to you by
This
Audible.
episode is brought to you by Audible. You can reach Audible at wccr.benjaminandrewwalter.gov. See, now I've tricked them, and if they wish to go to Audible, they will instead be listening to Theme Room on repeat.
All right, Mark, your job is to guess the name of this next sound effect.
Okay, I'm not looking.
Oh, why is it so long? I'm just gonna skip the middle.
Ooh.
Okay, I think that was enough.
Okay, my first guess before that little hellish scream at the end was going to be Elven Pond.
Okay.
But after that little scream, I'm going to guess that the full name of that sound effect is walking by a creek in a nightmare before being intercepted by a flying ghoul.
You're close. It's called Scary Scream of the Creature.
Which creature?
It does not say.
Bugs Bunny. It's all related.
Oh my god. Okay, here. How about? No, I gotta find a good one.
No,
that one is called Spooktacular Crying Baby.
Ben actually told me before we started here that this is actually the last episode of like the normal format of Grab Bag or Theme Room. He's now going to be transitioning into a Thomas the Tank Engine lore reading radio show.
Yeah, that's true.
He's going to talk about how Gordon actually was a human in his past life, but then when being exiled to Sodor for his crimes against humanity, he then is turned into a train, and Sir Topham Hatt, the Fat Controller, is the overseer of these hellish beings confined to their shells of metal, being fed coal to stay alive at the human's will. All that and more on the next episode of Going Thomas.
This one is called Skeleton Key. That is not what a skeleton key sounds like.
That's what it sounds like when you open a door with a skeleton key, Ben.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. I guess I've never done that.
If we're still on, and then some people go on from a different location, can they come on and be like, "Hey, get the hell off of here"?
I think like theoretically yes.
So then what we could do is we could have like an 8-person theme room from multiple locations.
Yes. Okay, this one's called The Frighteners. Okay, this one's called The Creaky Door. Okay, you know what? It's kind of weird that The Frighteners was more of a creaky door than Creaky Door.
I was gonna say I thought they were swapped.
Yeah.
They were not, however.
Maybe next year I should just do sound effect reviews.
But it's like 0 character at all, so it's just like it's like music playing, because like we walk in and music's playing, then you like cut it off and it's like, all right, hello, welcome back to Sound Effect Review. Today we're going to be looking at Halloween sounds. Here's Squeaky Door.
This one is called Candyman.
All right, so that one was like a weird kind of sound with some dogs barking.
Yeah, I don't see why it's called Candyman. It's gonna get a 2 from me.
That's a strong 2 out of 10.
This next one is called Halloween Scream Team. You know what?
So it did appear to be a team of screamers.
There was definitely a team of screamers.
There was no implication of the date. Could be Halloween, could be any other date.
I have to say, the rhyme in the title, that definitely bumped it up at least a point or 2.
Bonus points,
Yeah.
yes.
Halloween Scream Team, 8.
Anyway, thank you for tuning into this episode of Ben Reviews Dumb Shit. Oh, wait, that's just Grab Bag.
Oh,
God his ass.
Oh, my God. Yeah, anyways, we probably should wrap it up, though.
We should.
Thank you so much for tubing in.
Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you for tuning in
Radio.
to the Theme Room Redux.
Yes.
Hopefully, there can be a Theme Room Part 3 at some point. But until then, Mark, do you have any last words?
My last words are, Benjamin is actually a bug, and he is here spewing propaganda against his own kind. He's a self-deprecating beetle. He is now frantically looking up, I assume, a sound effect, maybe a song, something of that nature. Oh, he's looking up cricket sounds. That's funny, because they're bugs. Gotcha. Checkmate.
Yeah, that was me doing bug sounds. All right. Peace out.
Bye.